This is Tech Vibe Pittsburgh, your front row reclining seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation ecosystem. I am your host, Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. And in this episode of Tech Vibe, I had a great conversation with Cary Hill from Digital Fix Consulting about the growing preference for Macs in the workplace and the benefits of employee choice for devices. Keep on listening because we are going to discuss Digital Fix's evolution from an Apple shop to a full-service IT provider offering lifecycle management for Macs and Apple devices. We're going to look at some stats that are showing that 72% of employees choose Macs when given the option. Learn about the advantages Macs offer in terms of reliability, compatibility, and employee retention. Discover how Apple Silicone has made Macs more cost-effective for businesses. And finally, you're going to learn all about Digital Fix's campaign to give away a $2,500 MacBook Pro to a Pittsburgh Tech Council member. If you're interested in learning more about embracing Macs in Apple and your organization and want to learn more about the power of employee choice, be sure to keep on listening and don't forget to enter the MacBook Pro giveaway. You got to be a member. I'm glad to have you here in the Huntington Bank studios because, hey, I'm a fan of all things Mac. And
Nice.
I think there's so many applications from that people just, I think sometimes give them short shrift. But we're going to talk about that today. But I also want to learn more about what's going on with Digital Fix because you guys are growing, you're moving, you're grooving because I think more and more people are kind of getting into the whole Mac side of things. But you're more than Macs, of course, too.
More than
So,
Macs.
Yeah.
We do everything. But I mean, we originally started as an Apple shop.
Yeah.
This is our 10th year.
That's so cool, man. What's it like having 10 years, man? That's a decade.
You wake up in the morning and you go, I'm still here. Digital Fix is still here.
All right.
No, this is the biggest year we've had.
That's awesome.
We started out as your neighborhood Apple consultants, helping mom and pop shops, startups, and things like that. And now we've gotten into, we are an Apple authorized reseller. So now we can actually sell the product. We do lifecycle management. So from a business perspective, we can get you your equipment, we can get you your Macs, we can support your Macs, we can repair your Macs, we can make sure that they hold up for years until the end of the life cycle, and then we get them out of the environment. So at the end, we'll make sure that there's a catalog of everything that's coming out, everything's been secure erased, so there's no company data on it, and then we shop it. We'll find buyers, wholesalers or whatnot, and we actually bring funds back to our clients, so the product's always moving. New products coming in, the old product that's retired is going out. Funds are still coming back in, so there's no loss due to things going obsolete or devaluing just from sitting in a closet or a basement, right?
Oh, I got a closet to show you here at the Tech Council. I've got
Full of
I've got a
equipment?
pile of iMacs and some more.
I'm happy to shop that stuff. You'd be surprised. We can always find value for it. But for small businesses, for startups, even up to the bigger companies, this stuff, it piles up. Nobody wants to deal with it. So we come in and we make sure that it gets cleared out. You get your space back, you get some funds, and then you can turn around and buy your new equipment.
I love it because I feel like now you're doing the full thing. You're not just a piece of it.
Yeah.
You provide the whole ecosystem and you can make it easy for any company. Is there a particular size of company that you tend to work with?
We've done work for Highmark and HN for years, right?
Wow,
so
that's a pretty good customer to have.
They're
I like
big
that.
dogs in town. So, I mean, we have a client currently that has 10 computers. So we can scale whatever's needed.
That's great to know because I think there's a lot of folks out there. I think, and that's something we'll talk about in a minute, is the idea that Macs are becoming so much more prevalent in the workplace because it's a choice that you want to be able to offer your employees, which is something that we'll also talk about because I get really excited about the fact that some people, you need to have an advantage when it comes to hiring. And the next generation of workers, they've been raised on Macs, believe it or not. They've been raised on Apple. And if you're coming in and they're saying, well, here's your nice new PC, it's kind of like,
what is this? How does this work? Well, there's a couple of jumping off points. Number one is both myself and Digital Fix are big proponents of employee choice. And if you're not familiar with employee choice, the concept is that your workforce can decide for themselves what platform to work on. Mac, PC, some cases Linux. And ultimately, in a 21st century IT environment, it shouldn't matter what they're working on.
Because there was such a divide before. And I think there's still a divide, but this is why we're having this conversation is because I want to see that divide become narrower.
Well, there even shouldn't be a divide. I mean, it should literally be I have a Mac, you have a PC, we all do the same things. Everything is supported the same. They have the same security. They can run the same apps. You can share files back and forth, no problem. And there's no everything's invisible, right? I mean, there's no
It's seamless.
walls.
It's like, yeah,
seamless.
there's nothing to
Exactly.
create friction or anything like that as you're using any of the devices.
And that's employee choice. So when you onboard a new hire, as part of their onboarding, you fill out your paperwork, your W-4 and everything. And then it's like, okay, do you want a PC or do you want a Mac? And that's very 21st century. And the reason is, to your point, Apple played the long game. If you go back to the 80s, Apple's been big in education, schools, colleges, and things like that.
It's like you get them when they're young.
Well, exactly. But it's now panning out. I mean, I worked for Apple for years in both retail and corporate. And there was always back to school promos, and there were, education discounts for teachers and college students and things like that. So they were always appealing to education. And then with the iPhone, that just sort of finished it off, right? A 13 or 14-year-old wants their own iPhone. I've never met a teenager who's begging for a Pixel or a Samsung, right?
That's a good point.
They come into the store or whatever. They always have iPhones. So you have an iPhone. Okay, it's time for college. You need to get a laptop for your coursework. Well, of course you're just going to go with a Mac because it works just like your iPhone, and your iPhone works with it, and it's all the same. So what happens is that the adoption now, these college students are graduating. They're ready to go in the workforce. They're now almost 10 years in on an iPhone, several years in on a Mac. They know it. They're comfortable with it. Everyone they know has it. And then they go to start their career at a business, and they're told they can't use Mac. Well, chances are they're not going to be happy, or they're not going to work there. I actually pulled some statistics here from a study that Jamf did.
I like stats. So who is this coming from again?
So this company is called Jamf, and
Okay.
we are a partner with them. They have a software. It's a mobile device management software that specializes and works only on Apple products. But they were one of the first. And so we utilize it to manage large fleets of Apple products. So 10,000 iPhones or tons of Macs. And it's global. And as long as they're on the network, you can see them, you can manage them, you can run updates on them. Total control, right? For whatever the client wants, right? So they handle the software. We're a partner with them. We support it. We resell it, everything. And they did a study recently digging into employee choice and what companies were seeing on the Mac. And right away, they say that when employees in large enterprise environments have the ability to choose what they want to work on, 72% choose Mac.
Wow, 3/4 of the people are saying, I want Mac, please. Interesting.
Reasons for choosing a Mac here.
Yeah.
Why choose a Mac for work? Number one, I like Apple products. So that goes back to you graduate college, you're used to it. 2, I find Mac more reliable than other computers. And 3, it works best with the apps and resources I need to do my job. So
that's a pretty important last
It
point
is.
right there. 'Cause
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you think about people might forget how much efficiency can be lost when someone is trying to use a machine and they just can't use it to its full potential. And granted, someone can learn after a while, and that's fine. But I don't know. I just feel like if it doesn't matter anymore, if it's that easy to run a multi-platform environment or whether you're using PC or Mac, just offer the choice.
Exactly. And so you have a higher retention rate. So that's in here too. Here's 79% agree. I could not do my job as effectively without being able to use a Mac. There was something in here too about employee retention, but I mean the numbers are higher.
I'm also curious. Are there some? I believe there are some advantages. Now I might be wrong on this. Are there some advantages of using a Mac over a PC? I know for me, from a design standpoint, I believe that the applications like Adobe run better, I feel like, on Apple, but maybe now PC's optimized for it too. But I always just find it really weird when I see people using Adobe on a PC. I just find it odd. It's like, what? You can do that? And apparently you can. We have people here at the Tech Council that are, and I shriek, but I'm just saying. I
know people, I went to film school. I'm active in the film community. I know a lot of people that do it. And there's people that prefer Adobe Premiere over, Final Cut or other programs, right? Everybody has their own flavor,
surely,
that they prefer. So here's the one I was looking for. Sorry.
Oh, great.
So under employee attrition, it says that 94% of surveyed respondents said they are more likely to choose an employer who offers an employee choice program. So 94%. So that's huge, right? And there's other statistics too that lead towards, retention, happiness, overall productivity numbers are higher. Cisco actually is huge company, and they went employee choice recently, and they said it was a huge success. Their employees are happier, they're more productive. IBM, I believe, is employee choice now as well.
That makes total sense to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So,
and it's, there's just resistance to it. And a lot of it, and I call it 20th century IT thinking.
I
it's
like
just
that.
like,
Yeah.
hey, this is a business. You're supposed to use PCs. Our infrastructure is designed for PCs, so you use PCs whether you want to or not. And a lot of it is the old guard. It's people that came up in the 80s and 90s, and that's how it's always been done, and they're not interested in changing it. Mac's come a long, long way. Apple's done an outstanding job, both in education, but now in business, the development of the Apple silicon. Apple makes their own chips now. So what has happened is that the reliability numbers are up significantly, much more reliable.
When did they start doing that? What was the year turning point?
2020.
Okay,
was the first one, I believe.
So now they're almost a solid 5 years into doing their own silicon.
Gen 4 came out this year. The M4 Apple Silicon chip was released this year.
I'm excited to have one of those coming my way in a few short days.
Just
I'm very excited about that.
Your recently purchased from Digital Fix 16-inch MacBook Pro will arrive. You'll love it. I guarantee it. But the other thing is with that, because they manufacture their own chips, the reliability's gone up because there's less components inside. Before when they had an Intel processor and things like that, they were built differently. They're simplified, and they have something. Everything's on one chip now. The processor, the unified memory, and everything. It's all one chip. So you're not.
That's amazing.
And
wow,
the speed and
that's
performance
so cool.
is ridiculous.
I can't wait. Come on, man. When's my computer getting here?
But most importantly, the cost has come down. So. For the old guard of the
talk about cost. That's really important because I know for the longest time, I mean, Macs were significantly more expensive than a PC.
Yep.
But I think that's kind of coming closer in some areas.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the one that you need, though. But
right.
let me put it this way: at the beginning of the year, Apple released the Vision Pro. They're you put it on and they're heads up goggles. Right before it came out at the end of last year, they had the announcement, Vision Pro, and then they had a second announcement, and they mentioned the MacBook Air with Apple Silicon, the M2 15-inch. And everyone's going on about, oh, man, the Vision Pro. And I kept saying, guys, you're missing it. It's not the Vision Pro.
MacBook Air.
It's the MacBook Air that retails for $14.99. Or it might have even been $12.99 for the low-end model.
Okay.
Like, this machine is outstanding, and that price point is going to make a huge difference in business. And we're seeing it because the power that it has, the screen size that it has, right? It's a 15-inch, but it's also light and portable. I had one for a while. I tested one out, and I have a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and I played with the 15-inch Air for 2 weeks. I didn't notice a difference.
Really? How about as far as like being able to connect to it or the different ports that are in? I know sometimes the Airs are a little low on ports.
No, they've got the full outfit now.
Okay.
The original Airs were super simplified.
It was like, my God, there's one thing on here.
The only difference I found, and I really liked the 15-inch Air, the only difference is that the battery in the Pro is bigger.
Gotcha.
So it lasts longer.
Right.
But in terms of performance,
same
I didn't notice a difference.
You can't detect it when at that level.
Right.
It's like, do I notice that 0.001 second delay? Like, no.
And so when we talk to businesses and clients, particularly in the enterprise, that are buying large amounts of them, right? Because they still, to this day, it's like, well, Macs are more expensive. It's like, no, they're not. What are you using them for? Who is your employee base that are utilizing them? If it's copywriting, if it's email, if it's web-based stuff, even coding, certain levels of coding stuff, like it can all be done on the Air, right? So at a $1,500, $1,400 price point, you can absolutely utilize those. You don't have to pay $3,000 for a Mac anymore. And
wow.
And they initially go, no, that can't be right. And it's
right.
Yeah.
That's where it is right now.
That is the biggest advancement that Apple has done over the last couple of years. Is that Apple Silicon changed so much?
It really brought to that new level now, to where it's like
cost down, efficiency, and reliability way up.
Mm-hmm.
Because failure rates are down significantly for the Apple Silicon because it's just way more reliable because there's less components, everything's on
you said
board.
all the things in there just makes so much sense.
Yeah, I mean
it's exciting.
It's Apple controlling all of it.
I'm excited to see this finally happen because I just feel like for decades it's always been like I've been on Mac for decades, and it's always kind of been like I've been like the black sheep in the office. But not anymore. It seems like it's coming together to where it's just bring your device to work and it works.
Well, if the Pittsburgh Technology Council would like to discuss becoming an employee choice environment, I'm more than happy to sit down and talk about what that looks like.
Absolutely.
For sure. Absolutely.
So what I'm excited about is as we wind up 2024 coming into 2025, you guys are running a really cool campaign where you guys are giving away a MacBook Pro.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, tell me about what's going on and what people have to do. You have to be a Tech Council member.
Yeah.
But there's a chance you to win one. You can actually see what this is all about, which I think is pretty cool.
So Digital Fix was a member of the PTC our founding year in 2014.
Yeah.
And we left. It was different days back then. Yeah. And so we ended up leaving. But this year we came back.
I know. I was so stoked when you guys came. I was like, oh, man, my guys are back.
It's 9 years later. The company had its 10th anniversary, and the prodigal son has returned to the Pittsburgh Technology Council. So just to kind of let everybody know we're back, we're here, who we are, what we do, and to celebrate the PTC taking us back, we're running a promotion where we are giving away a 16-inch MacBook Pro. MSRP is $2,500.
No, that's no messing around, man. I love it.
It's actually, I think it's the exact same machine that I use.
Is it as nice as my machine that I just ordered?
You have an upgrade. Remember, Apple is building yours based on your recommended specs. So
like
yours
it's a JK special, man.
Exactly.
I like it.
Coming off the line just for you. So if someone is a member of the PTC, and I believe you have how many members? 1,000?
About 1,000, man.
About 1,000 members. So if you're a member of the PTC, you are eligible to enter. There are 3 requirements. The first is to like our post inside the private LinkedIn group for the promotion. You have to like that. You have to follow Digital Fix Consulting on LinkedIn. And you have to go to our website and register to win. So you have to put your name in.
You got to do all those 3 things. Yeah.
Those 3 things, and that's it. And on January 1st of 2025, we will draw a winner.
You're not messing around. You're getting up. You're going to be all possibly hungover from the night before, like we're drawing a winner.
Someone is going to start off 2025 in a wonderful way, and we're happy to make it happen. So
that's amazing. I'm stoked, man. That's pretty cool. I'm encouraged. You remember.
We really like this. I mean, internally, talking to our marketing director and my business partner and everything, we just really like the idea of doing it. So we'll probably run another one early next year as well. We'll do another givevenaway.
I like it, man. I get people in the know. And I love you've dispelled so many myths out there, which I think is cool because I'm not a hater of anything, but I love my Macs. And I just think that if you're out there and you're running an IT environment and you're running a business, don't be afraid. Embrace.
Embrace. And if you are even a small business that's that has a Mac or has a Mac and an iPhone or iPhones and iPads or whatnot, and it's, if you're like, I kind of have it under control, call us. I mean, I'm happy to come in and just evaluate and just say, hey, look, let's take a quick look. We offer a free consultation for any new and potential clients. And it's just to sit down and it's talking about what's working, what's not working, what do you need? And we give some recommendations. And you can run with them. Or if you want us to actually do it, great. Not a problem.
I just love the fact that you can work with large, small, and you can do the full life cycle. You can do everything. Sell them the Macs. You can come in, set them up. You can then get rid of them as they age out. And you're being green. You're not just getting you're being secure as far as getting all the Macs wiped and everything like that.
We have a green initiative. I don't like anything going to the landfill at all. I mean, whether it's printers or cables or I try to keep it all out as much as possible. So we utilize a lot of our vendors and partners to make sure that every single thing that touches our hands has a place to go. And I'm working on the numbers for the year at the moment, but ballpark, we had to have found between 300 and 500 Macs new homes this year.
What?
Yeah.
That's a lot of Macs.
It's a lot of Macs.
Good Lord. That's impressive.
We've done some large clean outs for companies this year. They've got 100, they've got 50. They just get rid of them. We don't need them anymore. They've been discontinued. Or we're not utilizing them anymore. So we've found them new homes. And they go off. iPhones too. We actually donated 300 iPhones to Computer Reach, which is a nonprofit. Yep.
They're a member of the Tech Council as well.
That's
too.
Right.
Very cool stuff.
Dave Sevick. They are utilizing them and getting them in the hands of underprivileged and rural and underserved
that
communities.
Makes me so happy. When I hear about equipment going to a new use and it can change someone's life, I'm serious. Like I feel like some folks out there, if they can get their hands on this equipment, that is something that can help connect them in and change their life.
Absolutely.
So simple as that.
I love it because everybody wins, right? Our client wins because they get rid of their old stuff. They're not storing it. They get some value back. They get some money that wasn't in the budget to start the year and can be used to either fill holes in the budget or
Buy more Macs.
Buy more Macs, of course, obviously, or pay for our services, even
Right.
if they, because we don't charge clients to come in and do this. What we do is we come in and we do our thing. We catalog them. We give you a report and say, here's what you're getting rid of. And we just take a commission off of it, and that's it. So there's no upfront cost for doing this.
Love it.
And then those Macs don't go to the landfill. They don't, age in a basement or a closet somewhere. They go off and they find a new home. And whether it's to one of our vendors who then sell them, or they go to Computer Reach and they go to an underprivileged or rural home. We actually partnered with Computer Reach this year. We attended some of their programs where they were giving out Macs, iMacs, and iPads and things like that. And we were on hand for training, for questions, and just helping set up.
Make sure they can get them running and working at their best. I tell you what, Cary, great stuff. I'm so glad to talk to you today.
Great to be here.
I love being able to talk Macs anytime, but of course, you can bring this into the business environment and realize that you can do this. And plus, it's great, of course, when it comes to your employees having a choice. That the stats you gave, I think, were just phenomenal to show that employee having a choice on what you want to work on is a thing
for sure.
And it's not a big thing to put some Macs into that environment either.
It's
simple as that.
The cost is not prohibitive anymore, and the technology and the software exists to make it happen.
Cool. We have links, of course, to your site. And, of course, we have links out to if you want to do the contest, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah. But somebody's going to get a very nice computer to start the year.
I'm excited.
I'm excited, too.
And my computer's on its way.
So your computer's on its way, and I can't wait to
that.
get blown up by you and go, oh, my God, this is the most amazing
I'm like, dude, this thing's awesome. It even makes grilled cheese. So rumor has it the 25s have the grilled cheese function, right?
It's a little tray comes out, it heats up. Yeah, hot plate.
Perfect. That's why I love Mac. And I love grilled cheese.
It's all coming together.
Cary, you are the best. Thanks for hanging out with me here.
Thanks for having me.
On Tech Vibe. If you want conversations like this about all the great stuff happening here in Pittsburgh's tech ecosystem, just keep on listening and follow us here on Tech Vibe at the Pittsburgh Tech Council. This is Jonathan Kirstein.